Everyone, it's Fish Cakes aka Matt. I am super excited. I just found out that the latest Meteor the Fury, Roaches on the Hill, has just come out, and I'm gonna put a link in my description so you guys can check it out, but I'm so happy, man. As far as the actual music goes, I think the music came together rather quickly, I'd say. There was a lot of stuff after the fact that happened, like for example the mixing. It took a really long time to mix. The vocals took kind of a long time to mix as well, but something that really challenged me was writing the actual lyrics to it, because I actually sitting down during the Capitol Insurrection and just listening to all the shit that was going on, and I was so moved by it that I decided that I would just write something down. Like I had to just get this frustration out, man, because I remember just watching and thinking to myself, like, this is crazy, man. I actually had a dream about something like that actually happening. I had a dream that something on the news was going on, that it was basically like Armageddon, and I think it was around maybe November or so of last year, actually. And I just remember sitting there. I remember waking up and being terrified and being like, what the fuck is happening, you know? This was before the fucking Capitol Insurrection happened. I had kind of told myself that I didn't know what the dream was about, but then I realized, I was like, you know what? This is actually about what's gonna happen after Trump loses the election. And if he doesn't want to fucking leave, I just realized, I was like, what the fuck? Something's gonna happen, dude. Like, something's gonna fucking happen. And that dream was the fucking insurrection, man. Like, and I didn't even realize it. And so that's one of the reasons why I was so moved, because I was like, fuck, man, I saw this happen in my dreams, you know? So I just sat there and I was listening to everything that was going on, and I just started writing down quotes that I thought would be, you know, moving in some way. And I came up with this. I'm gonna put it on screen right now. I came up with this, you know, short little teaser. It's not really a song, anything. I didn't even think it was gonna be a song. I just wanted to put something out because I was just so frustrated. I put it up online, and I just expressed how angry I was. And so after a while, after like a couple weeks or so, I started to realize that I needed some lyrics for the song, and I was just like, you know, I'm gonna write something. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I remember I flipped back through my notebook, and I read the page again that I had written down, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna turn this into a fucking song, man, because this is something that I feel like I need to have down as history. You know, this is the history of our country, and I feel like if I don't talk about it, it's going to be lost. Not saying that other people aren't doing the same thing, but I think that by writing down, you know, and keeping track of things that happen, you're writing down history as it happens. And so I felt like I had that duty to go ahead and say something about it. I have it right here. I have the lyrics for it. Initially, this is what I wrote. Is this American greatness? No, it's not. You have no idea how your world works. Voluntary destruction of your capital, your criminal desecration equals terrorism. Assaulting and raping democracy, your leaders in silence, inciting chaos. I saved this for the last bit because I felt like it didn't really have that much of a structure, other than that I wanted it to be sort of just a frustration part. I wanted to just, you know, sound my frustration and my angst about the insurrection. And I actually called it Insanity because the working title of the instrumental was actually called Insanity 193, and I think it was only fucking fitting that the song about the Capitol Insurrection was an instrumental called Insanity. So there are some lines here that I think were actually said by some reporters who were on site at the Capitol. Is this American greatness? No, it's not. That was actually one. The name slips I've forgotten since then, but yeah, that was actually said by a reporter on TV. criminal desecration equals terrorism, that's another one. Now, assaulting and raping democracy was a little bit, that was kind of me venting. Your leader's silence is inciting chaos. I think that was another line that was said at the Capitol Insurrection. Again, I can't, the name slips me, I can't remember which reporter it was. Probably either one of the ones sitting at the panel with Nora O'Donnell, I remember. At the end of it, I kind of tied it up with, as you climb windows like thieves, you refuse to break free, and blame your fires on me. So that was the ending of that, the cap to that. As people, broke into the Capitol, as I saw them, breaking their way in, at the end of the day, a lot of them were carrying symbols of Southern pride. In other words, the Confederate flag, and obviously that to me screams, the racist South. And it makes me as a black man feel concerned that a lot of that anger that they have for what they seem to be as, as a rigged election, I see that as them blaming, at the end of the day, they're gonna blame it on the people who voted, for someone who isn't their candidate. And that's what's so sad about it, is that people have started to think, and they still do, people still think that because you didn't get your president elected, okay, we get it. They believe that because you didn't get your candidate elected, that there's something wrong, and that the other people who don't share your point of view who are destroying, democracy. And that's not true. That's exactly how a fucking democracy works, is people get to, elect who they want to elect. Trump was elected for 4 years, and now Biden's gonna be president for 4 years. That's how fucking democracy works, and people don't understand that. They need to look outside of the box and realize that there's a whole world outside of them. There's a whole fucking world outside of President Trump, and, that was insane. What happened at the Capitol was insane, and should never have fucking happened. People can see the truth, but they choose not to, That was one thing, and then after that, they go ahead and they blame it, blame your fires on me. They go blame all of this bullshit on their supposed Antifa. All of this is just taking me back to the insurrection, man. It's just, it's really sad, how we still haven't found this sense of justice, for what happened at the Capitol. I guess I should probably just go and finish all the lyrics to this and show you guys and talk about them, go do a little deep dive into this. I started out with the actual lyrics to the song, Roaches on the Hill. I started out with saying, you are never gonna chase me out of here. Fighting for my life to quell the storm. Now that's obviously from the eyes of a police officer. I wanted to express, through the first pounding riffs, of the song, and when the hi-hat starts off, the just to show almost as if the floodgates are opening and now people are running at you. That's that anxiety of not knowing what's gonna happen to you. Chase me out of here. I'm fighting for my life to quell the storm. The roaches are crawling, contaminating, chasing us to lacerate and kill. So, maybe they might be offended by this, that I use the term roaches to describe the insurrectionists. However, I feel like that's appropriate in this case, because while I'm not necessarily directly comparing them to roaches, the act of them coming towards them and sort of infecting, contaminating, I said, and then to lacerate and kill. Roaches are fucking dangerous. They really are dangerous. And whether you like them or not, I mean most people don't like fucking roaches. I understand that. I have a friend who's deadly terrified of fucking roaches. But yeah, that's what they do, man. They go ahead and they will fuck you up, essentially. After that, I go into, I've read my last will 1,000 times in my head. Tell my kids daddy loved them before I'm bludgeoned to death. Now, this is a very powerful line, and a lot of police officers who were at the insurrection had these thoughts going through their head, and just to imagine that they're thinking about their kids, and their families as they're going through such a, doing such a heroic act of defending their capital. It's it's so fucking mind-boggling that in our country we have people who are willing to risk their own lives, regardless of going, overseas. Forget about going to Afghanistan and Pakistan and places like that. Forget about going overseas to do it. These people are doing it right here, and they need to get just as much recognition as anybody who's in the armed services fighting abroad. After that, I go into this little death metal part, which is Hail Mary, full of grace, shield my eyes from the mace. I mean, I thought it was clever, I guess. I really wanted to add this part in as a, like call and response part, I guess. So it's 1033 emergency, 1033 send the DCMP. DCMP is obviously the DC Metropolitan Police, and I actually have some in the finished version of the song. I have some sample. I'm actually saying 1033 on the police, like walkie-talkies. Next I go into I can't hold out much longer because now they're shoving me below. Last thing that I remember was a combat boot in my throat. A lot of the police officers were trampled by individuals at the insurrection. I guess I wanted to have, and you can kind of hear it in my delivery. I wanted to get that claustrophobic sound of my voice kind of just like cracking out, and you can kind of hear it where I sound like I'm being, pushed to the edge a little bit. Not necessarily in a good way either. If I wanted to do like serious screamo vocals to this, I would have, but I think that this fits a little bit more, to hear me kind of like struggling a little bit. I mean, I'm not the best singer, but I think that for some reason doing that with my vocals, it kind of, it paints a picture, it explains the story a little bit more. So one of the first, I guess you could call it a chorus. This song has a very strange layout to it. I didn't want it to be, verse, chorus, bridge. I wanted it to be a little bit more like, uneasy, I guess. Roaches on the hill today, performing for the ringleader, nipping at the heels of democracy while the conductor takes his leave. I wanted to express what's actually going on at the Capitol, so I kind of, I have Roaches on the hill today, as in the insurrectionists at the Capitol, performing for the ringleader. Obviously, it's the people calling out and saying like, oh, I'm doing this for my president, going in and just bare-chesting it in a sense, being at the heels of democracy, just tearing down that structure of that America has relied on for, almost 300 years, I think. While the conductor takes his leave, again, that's exactly what happened. Trump was almost completely silent that day, and it goes to show just how weak and how powerless he really was. When you have, it's almost like having dogs or wolves even, a pack of wolves that go and they just chew, just chew through just the heels of democracy. I think this is probably one of the only parts in the song where I actually curse. After I do the Hail Mary part again, I go, Father, forgive them for they do not know what they do. Let these fuckers burn in hell, let their skin stew. I just thought that it had this really nice rhyme to it. And again, it's in terms of the story, it's actually from the police officer, his point of view, just saying just fuck it, fuck these people, I just want to go home to my family. And then again, it goes into the Roaches on the Hill today part again, but I sort of altered it a little bit. I said, Roaches on the Hill today exploited by their president, needless bloodshed at what cost, just open your eyes and watch the smoke clear. Again, it's just asking that question, like, what is it worth? What is doing something like that worth, and why would you risk your own life just to do something that, if you just look around, you just look around you and see what's actually going on throughout the storm of American politics, say to yourself, is that really the world that I want to live in? Do I really want to live in a world where every day I'm questioning the reality? And that's exactly what they did. They questioned reality and said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this and destroy something that my ancestor, the insurrectionists, lived in the US for a very, very long time, and they were asked the question, do you have a country? Apparently not. Apparently a lot of them do not look at the US as their country anymore. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was just a deep dive into the lyrics. I think I might go into the actual sound recording and how I wrote the actual song, maybe on another day, just because I feel like this is the most that I've worked on something like this, that I really wanted to have a serious message to it, and this is what I want people to take away from it. I want them to take away that you are a part of history no matter what, even if you choose not to say anything, you're a part of history. Even if you choose not to speak out against the Capitol Insurrection, even if you choose not to, say that you support trans lives, saying that you, anything in history, you need to remember that. And that's the reason why I love history so much, is because, it shows you how people are able to either keep going for thousands of years in their culture, or kind of die out. It kind of explains what happens. And there's so many things that we can learn from history. That a huge part of Demeter the Fury is history. Growing up, I really loved learning about ancient Greek mythology and learning about the ancient Greek culture, and not only that, but now I'm learning more about like the ancient Romans and the ancient Egyptians. Mostly obviously Mediterranean cultures, because we tend to have a lot of information on that. But I want to learn more about it because it teaches us so much about our current civilization and how we've gotten to where we are today. So I just want you guys to remember that, again, Demeter the Fury, the whole meaning behind it is, the goddess Demeter, and how she was raped by Poseidon, and how that caused her to go into a fury. It's almost as if, Mother Earth is now being defiled, and we need to find a way to heal her. It has a little bit to do with the actual climate change, but it has more to do with the actual culture of history. I think that's Demeter the Fury. That's what it means more. It's this fucking wind, man. It's almost as if it's a fucking hurricane. Hopefully you guys heard me through that. I'm gonna see if I can edit this out and put it up online. I don't know how long this is gonna be. I'm probably gonna cut it in half for your Instagram. But thank you so much if you've spent this much time listening to this. I really appreciate it. And please go ahead and stream my single. If you really appreciate it, I really want you guys to go on and just share it, put it on your stories, and just tell people where you can find me and about me. I really want this message to be heard, and I want people to know about it. So thank you so much. This has been Fish Cakes out.